Hey AfterBuzzers, welcome to an all-new Orphan Black after show here at AfterBuzz TV. Tonight we're going to be breaking down Season 5, Episode 3, titled Beneath Her Heart. We have a lot to talk about regarding Alison, so stay tuned.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AfterBuzz TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
Hello, ABTV Clone Club. Thank you so much again for tuning into our Orphan Black after show here at AfterBuzz TV. I'm your host, Sam Davidson. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at SamD43. And I have one of my very good friends here with us to host with me this evening. Please introduce yourself. Let us know where we can find you on social media.
Hi, everybody. I'm Yael Tygiel. I'm everywhere at Yael Tygiel. That's YAELTYGIEL. And I'm in the chat right now where everyone is talking up a storm about this episode.
Good. I'm so glad you're in the chat and that you guys enjoyed it and you're chatting. So just to get a general opinion from you, Yael, what have you thought of these first 3 episodes so far, since we're just getting you this episode?
I'm loving this season. I'm so excited to see where it goes. It's the final season, and we have all of these questions that were set up, and they're like, oh, we gotta answer these. So I'm really excited to see as we slowly tie things up and wrap up storylines. I'm loving it.
Yeah. And on that note, you know, this episode was unique in the fact that typically for these after shows, I break it down by clone, but this is all over the place, but mostly Alison. And I have a feeling that the remainder of the episodes are going to be kind of clone focused per episode. I did hear that we're getting a Crystal episode.
Oh, good.
Yeah. So I'm kind of thinking this is the beginning of seeing everyone else's stories individually.
Yeah, I really like that we had an Alison-centric episode, especially because Alison brings up that she's kind of treated as like the least cared about clone, especially by like Rachel. She like has never met her. That was crazy to think about.
I go, wait, have they never met? Question mark, exclamation point.
Yeah.
What?
So I like that we did that. I also like hearing that we're gonna have a Crystal episode, because this season when we started and Rachel was like, everyone has signed on and we're all together, I went, have we forgotten about Crystal? And that there are probably others that we hadn't met. If we forgot about Tony, why does everyone forget about Tony?
I do forget about Tony. We mentioned it last week and I go, oh yeah, there's just so many and I hope we meet more. But before we get into the clones, I want to start about talking about Kira.
Yeah.
And first of all, at the end of the last episode, we saw some very quick development with her becoming her own person, kind of pissing us off, but of course pissing Sarah off. And, you know, as an audience, you're watching and you go, oh dear, what's going to happen with this girl? Or is this girl a lot smarter than we think she is?
I think we've always underestimated Kira. I think Kira's always been smarter. The fact that she could tell them apart was one of my favorite things, is she always knows who's who. And I think that she's becoming a teenager. Like, I don't remember how old she is, but she is growing up. And at some point you start being rude to your mom. Like, that happens.
That's a really good point, because right now it hurts so bad.
Yes.
But it's important to remember that she's kind of just being a normal kid and rebelling against the only parent she really has.
Yeah, so that's true, because she's so sweet to everybody else. But like she's mean to her mom because she's growing up. But she also has always been the smart one, and I think that she's playing something. I think there'll be a twist where she reveals something and is like, I needed to do this. She needed to believe it.
Yeah, well, that brings up, well, I just want to shout out to the MK Memorial. Very nice. Oh, I'm glad that we were able to do that. It was very sad, but in a way, last episode, I hate to say this, MK was a bit ready to go. She had no fight left in her. We had met her late in the game. I was attached to her. Everyone else on the panel said it wasn't that sad. I thought it was very sad. I was very upset by the entire thing. But what you're talking about, potentially with Kira having a plan, when we see her scene with Rachel, Rachel shows her this mouse that is essentially, you know, modified through genetics to, after they heal, to regrow. Yeah. Which is, and she mentions Kira being hit by that car. Was that season 1? I'm trying to remember when that was.
I believe so, because I do not even remember it.
Yeah, it was very awful and upsetting. I think it was before we really knew what was going on in this world, and we go, oh God, this kid just got hit by a car. And that is a very important moment that I'm glad we're not necessarily forgetting because they're picking it back up right now. But in a way, Rachel compared Kira to this mouse, is what I was thinking.
Yeah, well, she was also remembering the thing about the twins in Helena, that they also healed themselves.
Yeah.
Kate in the chat says that she definitely thinks that Kira has her own plan.
Yeah, because Rachel says, "Do you trust me?" And then she picks up the mouse.
Yeah.
And goes, "I really like this mouse."
Yeah, I think this girl is a lot smarter than her mom gives her credit for. But we as the audience, I give her a lot of credit. This girl's smart.
Yeah, she definitely is. And then we see a scene between Kira and Mrs. S, which happens more towards the end of this episode. But after Mrs. S leaves her room, Kira takes a pocket knife and is ready to test it.
Yeah. I like Kira kind of turning
Emo.
not emo. Or she's not cutting herself. She's cutting the mouse.
Yeah.
But I like the idea that Kira is, because she's smart, because she is into the sciences, because she is inquisitive and wants to know, and she doesn't trust Rachel. I like that she takes a knife and goes, I'm going to figure this out. I'm going to see what's going on here. And that she's not afraid to get her hands dirty.
And it's sad because she really feels as though she can't trust the adults in her life. She only has herself and the mouse, you know, spin-off, Kira and the mouse.
Kira and the mouse that keeps regenerating.
Yeah, and so does she. So it's just going to be a huge scientific experiment. Next, sorry, go ahead.
No, Eddie and me, I'm sorry, in the chat says that type of mouse can really do that, not something genetically modified.
Really?
Post a link. Science, I need proof.
Yeah, y'all goes, Sam, don't believe this so quickly.
Well, I don't know sciencey things, so if you know sciencey things, let us know.
Yeah, exactly. Because the cool thing about this show is it's based in science. It's science fiction.
Right.
You know.
But it's science fiction.
Exactly. So there is technical stuff that you can actually look up. That's a real thing. And I was never great at science or math. So anyone that, again, has insights into this part of the show, always tweet at us, comment on YouTube. I would love to hear about it. Then next, let's get into these Alison flashbacks.
Discovered in 2012, he says.
Oh, okay, cool. Discovering 2012.
Whatever.
Wow. Well, we'll see.
I
We'll
don't
see about
believe
that. We'll see about that. Alison in these flashbacks.
Yes.
I thought for a second I was watching the wrong episode. I go, wait, am I watching season 4?
I loved these flashbacks. Because we forgot. Well, I never forgot that she murdered her best friend, but I definitely forgot that they were such close friends, and that like they really cared about each other, and like it was her friend.
Yeah, I mean, for me that gave me some backstory because I don't remember that. I remember them being frenemies, but I don't remember them being so close. And when we started the show, Alison was completely on Team Clone, and she was basically right underneath Beth as far as being on top of it, which is why this episode shocked me that she feels as though she's fallen so far, because she's actually been one of the clones that knows what's going on and is able to tell everyone what to do.
That's a really good point, that she was, when we met her, she was the one who like threatened Sarah. She felt like she was in charge, and that Cosima was her sidekick. But I like seeing this backstory in that she needed to be convinced, right? Everybody needed to be like, we have the same face. So I really appreciate them showing us how we got there. I hope when we get the Cosima, if we get a Cosima episode, we see how that got put into place. And if maybe Sarah was working, or not Sarah, Beth was working with other people before Cosima, the redhead.
Yes.
The German redhead from the first episode.
Oh, I would love to see all of that. And what I loved about last season specifically was that it took us back to our roots from season 1 and started to explain things. So in a way, I'm thinking season 5 is just a continuation from that, because having Beth explained was a long story.
Yeah.
A very long and complicated story. We basically got the gist of that. But now we're diving into the other clones' backstories and how they found out it's a very traumatic thing to find out you're a clone.
Right. And maybe we'll get to see Paul. I miss Paul so much.
God, I hope so.
I miss him so much.
I miss his butt a lot.
I miss other parts.
Well, you have no idea what a tangent I can get off on. Okay.
Go on.
Anyways, so do you think that the fact that we're seeing the neighbors again, how do you say her name? I keep on forgetting. Annalise, her best friend's name. I'm blinking.
Oh, I'm also
It's it's something like that. So we see the couple, of which Alison
Ainsley.
Ainsley. I'm like, it's not Annalise. It spells like Annalise. Ainsley. Ainsley and her husband Chad, whom later Alison and Chad have this kind of fling, which we'll get into their confrontation. But do you think there was a specific reason we were shown this flashback?
I think it was to show us that maybe before they were frenemies, they were friends, that they did understand each other when she was still just an innocent housewife.
Yeah. I don't know. I still feel as though there's a lot of stuff from the past they could have brought up, especially the kids, where the kids are just never there anymore.
Yeah, the kids got sent away, right?
Yeah, and I think, which we'll get into at the end, she says she might go to them.
For the whole time, you're going to the fair without the kids?
Yes. It was kind of confusing, but I do think that as this progresses, and by the end of the season, I will rewatch all of these and fully understand them. But yeah, it was bizarre, and this whole thing with the shrooms. Yeah. I love watching people on TV and in movies do shrooms. I think it's really funny if they do a good job of it. Yeah. And this was a lot of fun to watch.
I really like when Cosima comes to see her, and Cosima was like, "Are you high?" At that moment, if I were Cosima, I would have been like, "Well, we got to have this discussion again later because you're not going to believe any of this now. I'll come back." Yeah. You know what I mean? As soon as I figured that out as Cosima, I would have left. I would have been like, "I'm taking a break. I'll come back when you're sober."
Yeah, I probably, because Cosima knows what it's like to be high. She's pretty familiar. Yeah. And I love how Cosima referred to herself as Berkeley. I'm Berkeley. And
I mean, she is from Berkeley.
She is, but she is the epitome, kind of Berkeley.
The kids are in Florida with their grandma. Thank you, Eddie and me.
Okay, fair enough. The kids are in Florida with their... And the thing is, that is the right thing to do. Yeah. We always forget how short of a time passes throughout the... I mean, from season 1 until now, I feel like it's still been less than a year.
Really?
Maybe a little bit more than a year, but
I think it's been over a year.
Less than 2. I'll say less than 2 years.
But Kira grew so much.
Yes. But Kira grew so much, you know. She's a fast grower. And I'm like, what about Rachel and the actress that plays Alison? Nope, same girl. Every time.
Yes, I've had that where I've met co-stars and been like, it's so sad you don't get to work with Tatiana. Yeah. But they do. Yeah.
In other ways.
Yes.
I'm gonna break up the art storyline with Maddie and all that into a couple bits. We're just kind of gonna go through the episode. But first of all, Art and Maddie, his new partner, knock on the Hendrix's door they have a search warrant. And this definitely pushes Alison off the edge. Yeah. But again, this Art thing, it sucks because we like him so much. And he is being he has to do this.
Right. I like that we're reminded each episode that Art hasn't changed teams, that he is still on Clone Club, but he, is doing what he has to survive. And I appreciate that they show us that, especially when Donnie says to him, don't go in the garage. We're like, great, he's still on our side.
But I think Art is so panicked at this point. He's not doing a great job of playing both teams.
I mean, I think the way that things turn out in the episode with him pointing the gun at her, I think he's panicked. And I was thinking when she was digging, I was like, yeah, that would be the solution. Why don't we just do that?
Yeah, let's just, it'd just be another body. They could just throw another one down there. There's plenty of them.
Right, like you already dug the hole. Just shoot her and bury it up.
Easy enough. And I do like that actress a lot.
Oh, yeah.
She's been in a lot of our shows that we love. But, God, her character sucks. Not a fan of Maddie.
No.
How annoying is she? Let's get into Alison and the Fall Fun Fair. I liked it a lot. Again, a very Alison-centric episode. And we see her start to go back to her pills.
Yeah. I don't like when people in recovery slip. It just bothers me. I'm like,
realistic, right?
I know. It makes me, like in real life and in shows, I don't like seeing it. It makes me want to go, but you did so well. you were doing so well, and I get that you're stressed, but like, go to a meeting. You know what I mean?
In my head, I go, when I learned out it was lorazepam, I go, that's it? Okay, she's fine. Second, I thought I would have started doing this again much sooner. How stressed is she?
Yes, seriously.
She has a pretty good excuse. And the truth is lorazepam is just anxiety medicine, but she doesn't need to take 1 million.
Right.
That's the problem. And there are addiction issues with prescription medication. But it just kind of made me laugh when she took it, and I go, yeah, you need to take a couple, girl.
Ugh, that poor woman.
She's been through a lot, and like we said, her character has changed from being on top to thinking that she is no longer worth anything.
Yeah. She is struggling, and when she fills up that bottle and was going to give it to Nona, and then when she didn't, and then she kept it, like, that's where my issue was. You just told her that this is an old bottle. At that point, you throw it away. Like, you don't make this mistake. You don't carry, because what are the chances that she later would have accidentally drank it? You know what I mean?
Well, and we'll get into this, but yeah, someone else ends up accidentally drinking it. When I talk about Alison and Chad, which was her husband, not her husband, Ainsley's husband. And again, glad that we addressed that storyline that they did. I wouldn't really call it an affair. In a way, I forgot that it happened.
I completely forgot that it happened.
Because Donnie's so great and he forgave her so fast. Yeah. And it just all worked out.
Right.
But it was sad to see their kids. And it's all kind of coming down on Alison of what she did. It's important to not forget that.
Yeah. And when he says to her, do you think it was because of us, or it was our fault, or we're responsible? I was like, don't say that to her. She doesn't need that right now. Yeah. And then when she says to him, I am responsible, I was like, oh, he's going to take this as like an emotional thing. That's so sweet.
Yeah. And I also forgot how cute he was.
Oh, yeah. I forgot he existed.
And I can't remember what I've seen him in before, but I know it's been a bunch of stuff. And he's very cute. I was happy to see him, but also very worried Alison was going to kind of go back that way. Because we didn't know. Yeah, I mean, we didn't know what she was going to do at this point. Because we do see the last episode, she's pissed at Donnie, as I kind of think she should be, for just leaving her on the scene there.
Yeah. When he abandoned her in the forest.
Yeah, with his rolly suitcase.
So funny. But also, I mean, she has full right to be mad at him for that. And then she has full right to be mad at him when she finds out that he does know where Helena is.
Yeah. I was confused because at first I thought that she knew as well, that it was, we were assuming the last couple episodes they had a secret plan together, the three of them, and they were all playing dumb. But I do think that there is some kind of connection between Helena and Donnie that might make Alison a little bit uncomfortable, even though Alison is wanting to protect Helena at any cost.
Right.
It's not uncomfortable. It's just, I don't know what to say about it. It makes me think things.
What do you mean?
That Donnie might be getting a little bit confused with who's
his wife?
Yeah, or, you know, I mean, first of all, Helena is the only one that you can really, that's not going to be able to impersonate anyone else very well. We've seen her try.
It's so funny when she tries.
And again, it's just such amazing acting when we see Helena try.
Yeah.
It's not that she's a bad actress. It's because we see
Tatiana playing Helena playing someone else.
Yes.
It's so well done.
It is. But their relationship this episode, but they love each other, and we are able to come back to that. And like you said, Alison puts the pills in this bottle, doesn't end up giving it to that woman, who, by the way, Yael knows her.
Yeah, that's Jane Eastwood. I hear she is a Canadian treasure.
Yes.
Those were the words I was told. She's a very sweet woman. You've seen her in a lot of things. Recently, she was in the Rocky Horror Picture Show remake that Fox did.
Oh, yes, that's right.
She was the criminologist's assistant, played by the beloved Tim Curry. She was the assistant. And so it was really fun to see her in this and to see her playing this uptight witch, as one would say.
Yeah, but one of those that I'm trying to be nice.
Right. Yeah, it's so in Alison's world.
Exactly.
But the thing with Donnie and Helena is I feel like she and Donnie have a special connection. He's the only one that she can talk to, and he takes care of her, and they get each other in a fun way. And I think that Alison feels sometimes that she's not as fun as Helena can be. Helena, who murders people.
Yes.
She can't protect everyone the way Helena can. So I think that she does sometimes feel the jealousy.
Yeah, I think she does too, and that might be a bit of a part of the reason with some tension between her and Donnie. But Donnie ends up drinking the pills. And it's so funny.
This is why you throw it away.
Christian Brun, I just love him so much. And when he's drinking that, he's so thirsty. And he's like, he goes, oh, yeah. Like, just drinking it down. And I get it. When you're really thirsty and you have a delicious drink, but we're all looking at it going, oh, no, don't do it. And when he got up on the stage to perform in his kilt and, no underpants like the...
it's done.
As it is supposed to be.
Yes.
He's being very authentic with his Irish dancing.
Scottish.
Just kidding. Scottish. With his Scottish dancing. And we see him very slowly start to move in and out. A lot of fun to watch.
Oh, so fun. There's a great GIF, I think he retweeted it, of when he falls and the audience sees everything. It's a great GIF.
Well, there was a moment in the audience, where, the kid... the mother next to the kid covers, oh, don't look.
Right.
And then that's when Alison's watching behind stage, and then he takes another really big fall. I go, oh, crap, Donnie can't have just died. But this is the last season, so I'm not throwing anything out.
Oh, wow, you're like really prepared for us to lose people.
Yeah. I am, because I'm very sensitive, and when I'm not prepared, I get very upset, and I go, how dare you not tell me? So I'm trying to just prepare myself, but also I know Christian Brun's going to be in the rest of the episodes. Yeah. I'm all right, but I was nervous for a second.
Yeah, I thought he'd end up in the hospital, not just vomiting. Yeah. Because he was out. Like, he first fell on his face, and then he was just out and not moving.
Yeah, and then when Felix came up, and Alison does her little mini monologue to everyone and says, I have sisters, and my life is way more than you know. And they just Felix essentially drags both of them out, and Donnie under the curtain. They shut the curtains, and his hand, you could hear him being dragged.
Yeah. When his face was hitting the floor, it was so gross to think about.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. Hopefully when we get Christian Brun in this season, he will tell us a bit about shooting that, because he's a theater actor. He likes doing stuff, and I'm very sure he has a lot of really fun stories about that scene. Okay, so after that, then we have the scene where they're making him throw up, and Sarah's on the line, and I love that they're always talking to each other, even though they are in completely opposite places. They're always in contact.
Yeah. I think it's great that they're making sure everyone's on the same page and they're communicating. Yeah. Especially when you're in such a complex plot,
And even Donnie and Sarah had a phone conversation, which... Again, I'm like, oh, those two actors never get to work together. No.
All the time.
They do. And I go, what a nice scene. How fun for them must have been. But I like that those characters got to interact with each other privately. That doesn't typically happen a lot. And again, that Felix, we're reminded, has a very close connection to Alison. That's important to remember.
I love their relationship because they feel like their worlds would never collide. And so the fact that they really have, and Felix has jumped into her world and is helping her through it, is so sweet.
He feels as though a lot of them are his sisters, but most importantly, I would say second tier besides Sarah is Alison. Let's jump back to the Maddie situation, and Art sees Sarah. She just pops up, and he goes, oh, well, gotta take a pee. Just gotta get out of here. And they talk, and he's like, clue me in. I need some more answers here. Do you have any idea what you've done to my life? Again, he has a daughter we never talk about. Right. He had a life before all of this.
Yeah, but he was Beth's partner, and so he kind of deserves it. He was part of their lives before he knew he was, It's not Sarah's fault. It's Beth's fault that he's part of this mess.
Yeah, I mean, especially too, because he was in love with Beth, which we found out last season, which it all makes a lot of sense now that he has stayed so connected.
Yeah.
I think because when you think about it, potentially who he thought was the love of his life died, and now there's all these sisters. And
there's like 15 of them.
and they all look like her, and he's, oh my God, what is going on here?
It's got to be so hard for him.
Yeah, I mean, he's very connected to it, and I do think that he's playing coy and not whipping out all the everything right now. He's waiting till he has to, and he thought he had to with that moment with Maddie, and he didn't. They found the body, and they called Rachel. So let's get into Rachel. So we have this really freaking awesome scene with Alison and Rachel.
Oh, yes.
One of the best. And again, another callback to what's happened in the past, Dr. Leakey, and she just takes his head and puts it in what looks like a very nice bag. Vera Bradley, something like that. And she just walks up. You could tell that Alison's petrified to talk to Rachel. And again, they've never met.
Right.
Crazy.
Yeah, it's really ridiculous because she was, I think, the first one to sign the paperwork.
Yeah.
Alison was like, yep, I'm signing up for this.
And you just think that they know each other.
Yeah.
I mean, they do by reputation.
Right.
Or they're sisters.
And by genetics.
Yes, and by genetics. And here is when Alison comes back. I never thought Alison was lost. It's one of those things when someone says to you, God, I feel so fat, I feel so ugly lately. And you look at them and you say, are you kidding? You're one of the most beautiful, powerful people I know. I had no idea that you thought this of yourself. That's how I thought when watching Alison this episode. I thought she's just been laying low, trying to take control of everything. Right. I had no idea that she was thinking so low of herself in the situation.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of times, in the real world, we have friends, we know people, and they don't outwardly say it. So it's like a reminder for us to check in with our friends.
Yeah, just check in with, even if there's crazy stuff going on,
right.
Clones dying left and right. You're in the woods with this pregnant sister that, she's hunting things and wearing them, and your husband's, I get there's a lot going on, but someone needed to check in on her.
Donnie should have checked in on her.
Exactly.
Kate in the chat asks if maybe Alison and Felix being so close would offset her jealousy with how Helena and Donnie have gotten so close. I think that makes sense.
Yeah, maybe.
But Felix has had a lot of his own dramas in the last season as well.
And I do think we're going to continue to see more of that. And he's another one that I think won't leave these girls, but thinks, what if my life didn't involve this?
Yeah.
How easy would it be? I would have a much easier life. But back to the scene with Rachel and Alison, she gives her the head, and it's shocking how disgusted Rachel is. I'm thinking you've done a lot of really gross stuff. Yeah,
I thought that when Leakey was murdered, I could have sworn there was a discussion about him. She was on her. Can I swear on this show?
Yes.
He was on her shit list. I remember, he was not. Everyone wasn't happy with him at the time, and so the idea, everyone thought that he had run away, but instead he was shot. So. I was surprised at how surprised she was about his head. You know what I mean? I definitely thought, you were mad at him. You were not happy with him. Why are you so, so he's dead. Yeah. He hasn't been around for years anyway.
She said something that was very interesting, Rachel. I wanted and thought to kill Dr. Leakey so many times, but I never did.
Yeah, because you're weak, Rachel.
Yeah, exactly. To me, I just thought she should thank her. In a way, it seemed jealous.
Yeah.
That you got to do it, and I didn't get to do it. But then Alison walks out of there, and now I think, she's been raised a few levels.
Yeah, I think she's feeling a lot better.
Yeah, she's feeling good. And then we see this heartbreaking scene with Alison and Donnie, where she realizes she needs to go away. I thought it was to rehab.
Yeah, I also thought
not to go find herself. I think she needed to be a bit more specific.
Yeah. I also was like, oh, good, you're going to rehab.
Yeah. It's not time.
Yeah.
But Donnie understands.
Because Donnie always understands.
God, I know. He's just the best. Which makes me so scared always for his safety, because he's the best husband and just wants the best for Alison and everybody else. But he understands why she wants to leave, and she mentions going to go see the kids, which again, glad they're mentioned because when we started, that was a huge part of her life.
Yeah.
And they've just disappeared.
And the idea, if she's going to see the kids, and we've now been reminded that they are in Florida with her parents, to go see her parents, who we've met with the store and all that stuff. What happened to the store?
Yeah. There's a lot of stuff that we kind
running the
of
store?
need some follow through on. Lastly, we get our little bit of Helena this episode.
We know where she is now.
Yes. And I mean, what was it exactly? Where was she?
She was with the nuns. With nuns, not the nuns.
Yeah,
but she's with nuns.
Yeah, she's with nuns. And I was thinking, have we seen these nuns before? No, she just went to a convent. Sure. Essentially. Yael and I are Jewish, so
the place where nuns are.
Yeah, we just say the place where nuns are.
I think nunnery.
Yes. That's what happens, you know.
Yeah.
And we see her writing things down and
she's writing in, I don't think Russian, but I think in code.
I tried to I paused it and rewound it, and I was like, this isn't my language. I thought I just missed something.
No. But I like that she's, whatever she's writing is probably super important. I think it makes sense that she would be in a nunnery, and that, because that's... So,
I think, is it convent? I think it's convent.
Girl, I don't know. Somebody in the chat says none of that. But I like that. That makes sense because she was raised by nuns, and that's how she, even though they were crazy, but that's how she feels safe.
Yeah, exactly. And I think scenes next week we see a lot more of her. On that note, let's get into some predictions.
Ooh.
Predictions.
There it is.
And now, your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
What do you think, Yael?
I don't like that Felix's sister is back. She was so fun, but we don't need you right now. We have so many people to deal with.
He needs to be focused.
Yeah, we don't need your distraction. So that's what I think. The thought of people dying didn't occur to me. Even though it's the last season, it just didn't occur. But now that I've thought about it, I could see Siobhan not making it through.
Yeah, maybe.
I could see Siobhan dying. I could see Felix leaving at the end of the season. Not dying, but deciding that it's his turn to live life.
Yeah, okay. I like those predictions.
Thank you.
I think that Kira, we're going to find out, is building some plan, some master plan. And she is going to have one over on Rachel. And Rachel is going to continue to be more attached to her. Helena's babies, I think, are going to be born in the next few episodes.
Oh.
Before the end, I would say by mid-season, we're going to see those babies come out.
That's so it never occurred to me timeline-wise. She's still preggo.
Oh, yeah.
So it hasn't been that long.
It really hasn't.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Any interesting things in the chat as far as anything we missed that we had to skip over?
No, not yet.
They're just with us.
They're
fully with us. I also think that Mrs. S, like you said, is going to potentially sacrifice herself. And we're going to see more clones, new ones and ones we didn't see as much of, including Crystal.
I really want to see Crystal. Eddie Emmy says showrunners hinted at Helena flashbacks next week. In the promo for next week, I think we see people in the where the Neos are living.
Oh,
the island.
The island. Moreau. Yes, the Lost Island is what I was calling it.
So we see them, and I think we're told. I think Charlotte says, Mud says, don't go into the woods.
Yes.
I think that the creatures in the woods are failed experiments.
Ooh.
And that they, instead of killing them, just release them to die. That was my theory, is that they've been released to die, but they survived and are now murdering.
Yeah, they're very dangerous. Well, those were great thoughts. And thank you so much for joining us this week, Yael. We really, really appreciate having you because obviously my other co-hosts were unavailable to be here, but you got me. You got my good friend, Yael. So I hope you guys are happy. Where can everyone find you again on social media?
Everyone can find me on social media at Yael Tygiel. That's YaelTygiel. And here on AfterBuzz on Sundays, I cover Winona Earp at 3 p.m., Dark Matter at 4 p.m., p.m. and starting next week, Killjoys at 5 p.m. Plus, if you love Dark Matter and Winona Earp and possibly other shows, check out redbubble.com/people/OTTs. That's OTTEES for awesome fan shirts.
Awesome. I love that. I'll check that out. You guys can find me, Sam Davidson, at samdavidsonentertainment.com, Twitter and Instagram at samd43. And I'm about to do Twin Peaks for the after show here at 8 p.m. Check that out. Otherwise, tweet at us, leave comments, rate, review, subscribe. We love hearing your feedback, and we will see you next week. Thanks for tuning in. Bye.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.